Back again with a second video today where we are going to be previewing the Memphis Grizzlies, who finished as the 8th seed in the Western Conference last year with a 48-34 record, eventually being swept by Oklahoma City in the first round. This offseason, their big moves were trading Desmond Bane to Orlando for a slew of first-round picks and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, as well as extending All-NBA big man Jaren Jackson Jr. to a 5-year, $240 million deal, anchoring down the fact that they will be building around Jaren Jackson and Ja Morant in the near future, as well as acquiring those picks to help bolster out the roster throughout the next couple of years. They also signed free agent guard Ty Jerome and selected Cedric Coward with the 11th pick in the draft this year. They also lost Luke Kennard to free agency, as well as Marvin Bagley in free agency to the Washington Wizards, where the trade last year for Marcus Smart and a first, for Johnny Davis a second, and Marvin Bagley looks worse by the day. As Johnny Davis isn't on the team, Marvin Bagley went directly back to the Wizards, and the Wizards of course got that 18th overall pick. Shockingly, last April, about 6 or 7 games before the start of the playoffs, Grizzlies fired their coach Taylor Jenkins. Now, Taylor Jenkins was talked about being let go at the end of the season, but I can't remember a time that a team has let go of their coach who was in the playoff hunt so close to the start of the NBA playoffs. That brings me into today's X Factor already, Coach Tuomas Iisalo. Now, he was the interim coach after firing Taylor Jenkins. He played 14 years in Euro basketball, as well as coaching for 3 Coach of the Year titles in EuroLeague, Bundesliga, and the Champions League. Iisalo likes to utilize a freelance pick and roll offense in nearly 30% of his sets, which is exactly how Ja Morant likes to play. Coach Taylor Jenkins favored a more organized and structured offensive play calling strategy, which seemed to kind of frustrate Ja Morant as a point guard who likes to explode to the rim and isn't the best off-ball player. It seems like Iisalo will also utilize a 5-out strategy at around a 15% greater clip per game, as well as 3 times as many freelance pick and roll plays in the 16-game sample size that we saw from Iisalo last season. With an increase in 5-out as well as freelance pick and roll from the 5-out formation, we should see Ja Morant return to his all-star form and his high-flying ways. The full details of this trade that saw the Orlando Magic receiving Desmond Bane, Memphis received Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, a good veteran to lead this young group. They also received a first-round draft pick in this year's draft, the 16th overall pick, which Memphis did end up trading to Portland. They then got picks unprotected, fully unprotected in the 2026 first round, 2028 first round, and 2030 first round, as well as a pick swap in 2029. Dealing Desmond Bane allowed for the Memphis Grizzlies to shell out as much money as they did to Jaren Jackson, as they weren't going to be able to afford both of them, and I do think it was a wise move given Jaren Jackson is a former Defensive Player of the Year and one of the better big men in the league. Desmond Bane, of course, on the flip side of that coin, is a terrific three-point shooter, which is really going to help Orlando when we get to Orlando's video. I do think as well this is the Memphis Grizzlies saying that Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson cannot do it alone, so acquiring these picks are going to help fill out that depth. Likely these are going to be some picks in the mid-20s or so. I do expect Orlando to compete over the next 5 years, given the core of Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner, now adding Desmond Bane. The team's win total this year is set at 40.5 games, which is a solid 8 wins less than what they finished last year with, and truthfully, I think they might have got an upgrade at coaching. Yes, Desmond Bane was an important part of shooting. Yes, they don't have much guard depth. I believe Ja Morant is the only point guard listed on their roster, but this team has solid pieces. I don't think they're going to be 8 wins less than what they were last year. I get that not everybody can go over, but I'm going to say this team goes over 40.5 wins. Maybe they don't eclipse the 48 win mark they were at last year, but I think the increase in Ja Morant in the freelance pick and roll sets, being able to do more of the offense the way that he wants to, as well as solidifying Jaren Jackson Jr., as long as he doesn't take a step back after he no longer needs a long-term extension, this team should be able to fight for not only a play-in spot, but maybe a 4th, 5th, 6th seed in the Western Conference if we see Ja Morant get back to his old form. Some players I would watch out for as well if you turn the Memphis Grizzlies on League Pass. 20-year-old JJJ Jackson out of South Carolina had a tremendous rookie season. I'm also looking at Jalen Wells, the 22-year-old forward from Washington State, and then I do want to see Zach Edey as well take a bit more of a role in that offense, maybe even becoming their starting center to allow Jaren Jackson to play the 4 position. We'll see how that goes, but those are 3 players that I would be watching this season for the Memphis Grizzlies outside of your normal Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson, Jackson, Brandon Clark, etc., etc. If there's anyone else on this roster you're excited to see, comment below and let me know. As always, thank you Suncoast Sports for helping produce this video. Suncoast Sports being a breaking company on the app Fanatics Live. Fanatics Live, a place where we get all kinds of exclusive NBA products, autographs, memorabilia from rookie stars and legends alike. If you want to check them out, the link's always down below. And we might be getting a third video out today. Not too sure if we do. See you then. If not, enjoy your football Sunday.